Oh, it's like a different color. Good morning. So today I'm going to be talking about media and tech's roles in 2017. So we live in a really big world of technological things, and 2016 very evidently showed that this world of technology really is not going away anytime soon, yet it's rapidly expanding in every market in every corner of the world. So today I'm going to talk about the roles of two big parts of our world today, technology and media, two overlapped communities, and their roles in 2017. Because if you look at what they've done in 2016, you can really see that overall, not only are they two blended communities, but they're two communities that have and will be completely reshaped. So of all those things, I'm going to focus on virtual reality, fake news, and the new tech lifestyle. So from virtual becoming real, one big place that we saw this year was Pokemon Go. We saw the concept called augmented reality, or the blending of real and virtual worlds, and enticing users by taking a huge brand as Pokemon and having incredible marketing and branding skills and making a game that people actually love and spend all their time on. These Pokestops in real life were actual places where people would visit and they would talk to each other and they would get all these Pokemon, and that was really a huge test as to augmented reality. You can look back a couple years and you can see that companies, people like Smurfs actually tried to do augmented reality, and I think like 2012, and that failed just because people weren't ready for the concept yet. But we already have HTC Vive, we already have Oculus, we have all these things, and the markets have already been tested, so we can see that the timing is opportune. Speaking of virtual reality, we also have HTC Vive, or as I like to call it, virtual reality 2.0. We saw virtual reality first coming up when we saw the emergence of the Oculus Rift, a headset that you put on your head, and you would put either a phone or it would load a game onto it, and you would be transformed in this virtual world that you could look around in, and you can use different gaming controllers to play. And now the HTC Vive takes it a step further by letting you actually walk around your area and interact with the things inside of the virtual reality game, and you have all these different controllers where you can move around and interact with different features, and that's something that's really interesting. And not only is this applying to games, but this is applying to the future of technology. If you look back at different movies and different concepts of what we want our tech future to be like, you can see different things where augmented reality is everywhere. You know, you have your calendar, everything, all in front of you. Like Google Glass, for example. You put on the Google glasses, and in front of you, your world is transformed into a place where you can easily see all of your data right in front of you. And that's something that really isn't going to go away anytime soon. So with this, what I can really see is that, especially for Pokemon Go, they timed this extremely well. Pokemon had not really came out with any huge games recently, and we saw during this the Pokemon Go came in right now, and they found the great market to launch this, and it's a worldwide game. Though it's not as large right now, we can see how even, during the summer, this game was huge. The next thing is fake news. Fake news and the new world of media are two concepts that, especially with our election over, are something that we really need to figure out in terms of media and how we get our data and information every day. So what happened really this past year with fake news, one example is through Facebook. A lot of fake news agencies are able to post their stuff through Facebook because people go on every day and they see their feed. So whatever pops up just goes through their feed. And now Facebook is, they're trying to make different algorithms to sort out what's different between fake news and real news. And they've partnered up with large companies to be able to do this. Facebook has really taken the initiative to do this because they know that as a large company, they have the people and the platform to do this and to spread this awareness of stopping fake news. And that's really one thing that I like to see from Facebook. But in terms of this new wave of journalism that I'm seeing, it's not all bad. There was fake news and there were a lot of scandals, especially with the election, but I don't really blame that solely on the news companies themselves. What I see in terms of the good side of new journalism is I see media engaging content, actually having people interacting with the news so they're more informed than ever. And the blending of all these different communities, especially with news, is something that needs to be well balanced and preserved in order to make sure that news is not only fair, but it gets around. The last thing is the new tech lifestyle. So one thing that we saw from 2016, again, is we saw all these different platforms showing how they're going to go into the way of what we use every day for tech. We saw the Amazon Echo transform how people interact with their homes, with Internet of Things products being controlled, and people having this Siri-like stick inside of their houses to control different things. We saw Snapchat emerge, and we saw them very cleverly put branded content in by having stories curated by different sources such as Mashable, Daily Mail, SNL, and all these different people to make sure that people are more informed than ever, even blending that with social media. And in terms of products, one interesting thing that I actually saw was the Swagway, or these small little hoverboards that literally caught on fire in the markets and elapsed. They're not as big now, but what we can really see from that, or at least what that echoed me to, was Marty McFly in Back to the Future with his hovering hoverboard. And though this is basically not at all like that, the concept and the naming and what people really aspired for it to be is something that in the future we're seeing that people are still carrying these aspirations even if we haven't achieved all of the goals yet ourselves. So how do these three things blend? Tech is so vast these days that everything is consuming, and what we have to see is that the lifestyle and the way that we preserve all these different communities is what's going to push us towards a brighter future. Last year, I gave a talk on tech in the future, and basically what I said is communities don't work unless they're all blended. And tech is one large community with sub-communities, and the way that it all works is if people are making their own products and sharing things with each other. And if there's no sanctity and there's no promise and there's no validation of what's right, what's not, and how we actually do things, then there's no way that we're actually going to be able to transform into a new era, because without that, it's just going to stay stagnant. So what does this tell us about 2016? Honestly, 2016 was a very interesting year in many ways. But in terms of technology, it shows us that the future really is bright. People are innovating. We're not seeing the future that we've always expected. We're not seeing the picture-drawn future, of artist renditions. But what we are seeing is we're seeing a world where people are getting engaged in these communities and where technology is around us all the time. Even in this frame of TEDxYouth, I can see we have computers everywhere. We have smartboards. We have projectors in the school. We have integrated classrooms. We have technology everywhere, and the rapid expansion of technology into other areas, making sure that the fusion of tech and real world stays sanctioned and it stays bountiful and good, is really something that we need to make sure is good. So what have I done? I wouldn't say that I've really touched on all of these areas, but from a coding perspective, I've actually worked on a project called WebDeck with our next speaker, Alex. And what we're trying to do with WebDeck is we're trying to create our homepage on the web, and we're trying to do our part of making sure that there's fair sanctity online and that there's a place where people can actually go and see what's going on in their day. So at least from that perspective, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that in our products, we're pushing towards a brighter future, and we're making sure that whatever trends are going on, that that sanction still pushes further through WebDeck. So what's next? Transformations will take place. Tech, media, and this new lifestyle is an amazing combination. There are so many endless possibilities. It isn't even hard for people to make things, right? When I was in 6th grade, I wanted to learn how to code. I did not know very well. I went to a boot camp that summer for about 4 weeks. I love learning how to code so much that the next summer, this past summer actually, I went to another boot camp, but this time for 8 weeks. And this boot camp was really intense, and I learned how to make iPhone apps. So really, whatever you want to learn how to make in your life, it doesn't matter if it's technology or media, but all these different things that people are contributing to, it's not like these people are contributing and you're not a part of their help. No matter what you do, if you're engaging in these communities, you can help and you can make the future of these communities be a lot brighter. So thank you, and this is my site if you want to check me out.